"I'm sorry," she said. Again. For the third time that day. The strange part? She couldn't actually remember what she'd done wrong. This isn't a story about a bad apology. It's about something psychologists call one of the most powerful tools of control, and most people never see it coming. Two people. One memory. Two completely different stories. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how that gap gets created and exploited. Hey, welcome back. Today we're breaking down psychological manipulation, not the movie villain kind, but the quiet, everyday kind that happens in relationships, families, and workplaces. Manipulation is the use of indirect, deceptive tactics to influence someone's emotions, beliefs, or behavior, without their full, informed consent. Meet Alex. 2 years ago, she started dating Jordan. In the beginning, everything felt easy. Attentive texts, thoughtful gifts, constant compliments. Psychologists call this love bombing, an intense, early flood of affection and attention. It feels wonderful. It also builds enormous trust, remarkably fast. That fast-built trust becomes the foundation for everything that follows. Manipulation rarely starts with control. It starts with connection. Then small shifts began. A joke that stung a little too much. A comment about how she dressed. Nothing dramatic, just barely noticeable. Alex brushed it off each time. Maybe I'm overreacting, she thought. That single thought, that's actually the first foothold manipulation needs. Over the following months, this pattern would repeat and slowly intensify. Let's look at exactly how these tactics work, one layer at a time. Tactic 1. Moving the goalposts. Alex would meet Jordan's request, only to be told it still wasn't enough, or wasn't done the right way. This keeps a person constantly trying to earn approval that was never designed to be reachable. The goal isn't compliance, it's exhaustion. Tactic 2. Guilt tripping. Small requests get reframed as painful betrayals. After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me? Guilt is a powerful lever because it hijacks empathy. The very trait that makes someone a caring partner becomes the exact thing used against them. Here's the pattern so far: build trust fast, introduce impossible standards, then attach guilt to any pushback. Now add one more ingredient: silence. Tactic 3. The silent treatment. Jordan would go quiet for days after any disagreement, offering no explanation, no timeline, no resolution. Silence creates uncertainty, and uncertainty creates anxiety. Alex began apologizing just to end the silence, even when she wasn't sure what she'd done. Tactic 4. Isolation. Slowly, Jordan questioned her friendships. They don't really understand you like I do. Her circle quietly began shrinking. With fewer outside voices, there were fewer people left to say, "Wait, that doesn't sound right." Isolation removes the mirrors that reflect reality back. By month 8, something stranger began happening. Alex started doubting her own memory of events, even ones she was completely certain about before. She'd remember an argument clearly. Jordan would insist it never happened that way, or never happened at all. And slowly, she'd start to believe him. This is where manipulation crosses into something with an actual clinical name, and it's far more calculated than it first appears. This tactic is called gaslighting, named after a 1938 play where a husband dims the gas lights, then insists his wife is imagining the change. Gaslighting works by repeatedly denying someone's accurate perception of reality until they can no longer trust their own senses or memory. Alex started writing things down, just to prove to herself she wasn't losing her mind. That instinct, that's actually a very healthy warning sign. But here's what makes this so hard to spot from the outside: the manipulator often doesn't see themselves as a villain at all. Research on coercive control shows many manipulators genuinely believe their version of events, or convince themselves the ends justify the means. When confronted, manipulators often use a pattern researchers call DARVO: deny, attack, and reverse victim and offender. Alex once confronted Jordan directly. Within minutes, she was the one apologizing, for supposedly being cold, distant, and impossible to please. Darvo is disorienting by design. It flips the entire conversation so fast that the original concern disappears, replaced by a new one you now have to defend against. By this point, Alex had lost track of her own boundaries entirely. She couldn't remember the last time she'd made a decision without checking his reaction first. Psychologists call this erosion of self-trust, coercive control, not a single dramatic event, but a slow accumulation of small ones. The person in that old photo made decisions confidently. 2 years later, she checked her tone in every text message 3 times before sending it. So here's the real question this video needs to answer. Why did someone this thoughtful, this self-aware, get caught in this pattern at all? Here's the insight most people miss. Manipulation doesn't target weakness. It targets empathy, conscientiousness, and the instinct to keep relationships peaceful. Studies on interpersonal influence consistently find that the most agreeable, cooperative people are often the easiest targets, not the most naive or insecure ones. That's the twist. The very qualities we praise, patience, forgiveness, giving people the benefit of the doubt, are exactly what gets exploited. Manipulation isn't a fair fight between 2 equally matched people. It's an asymmetry, one person using another's kindness as leverage against them. For Alex, the turning point came from something small. A friend she hadn't abandoned entirely simply asked, "Does this feel normal to you?" That one outside question did what months of self-doubt couldn't. It gave her memory an anchor outside the relationship, proof her perception wasn't broken. That's the real defense against manipulation, not becoming less trusting, but keeping people in your life who can reflect reality back to you honestly. Manipulation survives in isolation and silence. It struggles to survive against a second honest perspective. That single fact changes everything. So how do you protect yourself? First, notice if you're apologizing constantly without being sure what you did wrong. That confusion itself is information. Second, write things down. Not out of paranoia, but because a written record can't be quietly rewritten in an argument later. Third, protect at least one outside relationship, no matter what. Isolation is the tool that makes every other tactic work. Remove it, and the rest weakens. Fourth, trust the discomfort. If something feels wrong before you can even explain why, that feeling is data, not an overreaction to dismiss. None of this makes someone weak for missing it. Manipulation is built specifically to be hard to see from the inside. That's the whole design. Alex eventually left that relationship. It took her almost a year afterward to fully trust her own judgment again. That part is normal too. Have you ever second-guessed a memory you were once completely sure of? Tell us in the comments, and if this helped, subscribe for more.